Hey everybody, Harold Bryan here, PoPMediaPro Productions. Hey, what I'm doing now is a little history event talking about Fort Sewall. I'm in Marblehead, Mass right now, which is right outside of Boston. A historic event involving the Revolutionary War, 1776. I'm going to take you down and show you one of the first forts that were built in Massachusetts to fight off the British when they were invading this nice little community here. Okay, so we're at Fort Sewall right now, and I'm looking at a plaque that describes the site plan for the fort. There's A, B, C, D, E, and F, and A was a kitchen, B was a guard room, C was a storeroom, D is a dungeon, E was a magazine, and F was a temporary magazine. The temporary magazine, the F, is no longer here. But let's go over and take a look and see what this fort looks like. It is a little slippery because of the snow that's out. This is February, so we're still in winter. And the first thing we're going to do is come over to the steps that are they built so the soldiers could navigate from top to bottom and bottom to top from outside. And you can see that it's still very historic. Now the first room we've got here is what would be called A on that map, and that is a kitchen. Right now they've got an old bed set up in there from the reenactment. You can see the table in there, and the cool thing about it is there is a fireplace, and you can see the top of the chimney from up above, which we'll take a look at in just a few moments when we go to the top. And this would be B. This would be a guard's room or an officer's room. They would be the ones that were on duty. They would get to stay in here, not inside the tents where the rest of the militia would hold up. And then the last one is C and D. And as you can, if you look over into the right hand corner, there's a little entrance that takes you to the top. That's so that they could get down and back and forth easier than running around on the outside and bring up munition, powder, and that kind of stuff. And on the other side of this is a dungeon where some of the British and French soldiers were briefly held. So that is the bottom part of the fort. So let's go to the top. We're going to go up the stairs to get to the top. These stairs have been here, this has been here for a long time. So you can see behind me is the harbor, and that's what they are defending. If you look on a map at the northern point of Marblehead, outside of Boston, which is south of here, which is behind me in that direction, they were defending this particular area. And it's real narrow right here as you enter into the harbor, and they needed to protect this harbor and this village of Marblehead. So let's go downstairs here. But there's a door that gets into the bunker. They needed to protect this because powder and everything could blow up and the ships would fire their cannons over and land in here. Okay, the fort was built in 1644. That's a long time ago. And it was commissioned with two cannons to defend this area. Two cannons. In 1742, the French and Indian War, they added 12 cannons to protect Marblehead. 1776, now that's the Revolution. The militia got word that the British were coming in to burn the seaport, which they had been doing up and down the coast here from Boston on. And at that time, it was mainly women and the elderly defending the fort because the men were all out to sea fighting in the militia. So when this British vessel came up and was going to attack the seaport, all the militia villagers came up here and started running around the cannons like crazy and acting real busy. And the captain on the ship, using his telescope, looked out and saw all the activity around the cannons here at Fort Sewall and made a decision not to attack. And they retreated. Now the irony was there was no powder. There was nothing to fire the cannons with at that time. They completely bluffed the British out, and they retreated. Not the first time our militia at that time pulled one over like that. The War of 1812, and Marblehead defended helped with the USS Constitution, Old Ironsides, and defended them, brought her in the harbor here, and she was safe. That was another story. So 4 major events in history with Fort Sewall.